Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. New microphone, figured out the problem, got it working now. So that's kind of nice. And we've got some new information since the last time I was awake, which is the selection pack coming, and Eclipse Twins, this is a big one. You know, they're nerfing Ryzeal before the release of Eclipse Twins. I think that's smart, because this makes your detonator significantly tougher to get rid of. It means pure Ryzeal is back on the menu. It means that decks like Heraldic Ryzeal or Magistus Ryzeal have another send they can send other than Myriologic Aggregator or a Ryzeal name. Or in the case of Heraldric, the Heraldry Patriarch. You can also make it using rank 4 monsters and level 4 monsters, so it can be really cool for things like Zeus if you're not playing Ryzeal. Like it's pretty neat. You can attach one material, monster makes 2 attacks. Not the most relevant effect, but it's a good effect, right? It means that now all of a sudden you have another way to attack twice in Ryzeal, rather than just the Magistus cards. But main effect, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target 2 other rank 4 or lower Xyz monsters in your graveyard, special summon one of them, attach the other to it as materials. So what this basically does is you pop your own detonator in response to it's the plug-in thing, right? You pop your own detonator in response to their imperm, then Twins triggers, you attach an Xyz monster to the detonator and some detonator, then detonator triggers, gets you a second material. You've got a 2 material detonator through their imperm, right? It also just works if they send it to the graveyard other ways, so it's, you know, it actually kind of makes plug-in less necessary. I don't know if you will still never run plug-in, but now that you can't plug in Ouroboros and Twins exist, there's a good chance that these lists stop running plug-in. But even if they want to still run plug-in, this just gives you an extra layer. It also means that you're not using up your Myriologic Aggregator turn 1 for the detach. That makes your Ryzeal detonator slightly weaker as an interruption, but it's an awkward interruption sending Myriologic Aggregator to pop something anyway. Like, it will occasionally come up, but like, you now have something to send turn 1 that is a little bit better, in my opinion, just because that way you can send Myriologic Aggregator off your X turn 2, but then you've got 1 X, so you have to use the field spell to recycle your X to your sword if you're gonna do that, right? So I think this is probably why they hit Ryzeal as hard as they did, because every version of Ryzeal is going to be running at least 1, if not 2 Eclipse Twins. And then Monarchs are coming. Monarchs did just win regional in the TCG. Like, it's not a bad deck. You use some of the old Monarch cards. You mostly use the new Monarch cards. It's like Fluandereeze, where it's a normal tribute summon deck. It does a little bit more special summoning. It doesn't lock you into the normal summoning the same way. But it's a normal summon deck, which has some advantages. Might be good into Max C, etc. And these cards are pretty good. Actually, some of them are like custom broken, and the original Monarchs are still really useful. Like, you run one of those Monarchs, mind you, but they are actually still useful in the deck, so that's kind of cool. I wish it was I wish there was a little bit more of a reason to play Monarch, like to play the old Monarch cards that aren't Domain, and like big elephant in the room, Domain should probably be banned if Monarchs is going to be a deck in the format, because shutting your opponent off your extra deck in your deck that doesn't use the extra deck is like, again, this deck reminds me a lot of Fluandereeze. It's kind of cool that you've got this cool tribute summon deck going on, and it's nice that exists, but if the end result is that your opponent is trying to floodgate you in multiple ways, that's not going to create fun games. So, but I mean, the problem there is Domain, not any of the new Monarch cards. The new Monarch cards all look fun and interactive. And then Sky Striker Ace equals 0. Oh boy, Sky Striker's back on the menu, boys. So this might be why they hit Droll. Like, we were talking about how it looks like it's a Max C hit, but it's very possible that they were just like, Droll is so harsh on Sky Striker, even though Sky Striker is a really fair, fun deck, right? Don't get me wrong, this is a powerful card, and if all the missing Sky Striker stuff is in this pack, which I'm assuming it will be based on the way they've revealed it, like, we will be talking about Sky Striker on my tier list. I'm pretty certain about that. It will have enough of an impact for that, because the old Sky Striker cards are still good. You can still build like a viable Sky Striker deck today. And still, it's just now pure Sky Striker rather than Sky Striker engines is going to be way more on the menu. You know, the Summon Ace, Ray, and Rose thing seems to just be a way to force you to run Rose, but then a lot of the pure Sky Striker lists were running one Rose anyway, and you can still summon it off of one monster as long as that monster is Ray, because Ray's effect can summon this Link 2, unlike most of the Sky Striker Link 2s. And then it adds a Sky Striker spell from your deck or graveyard, so it's Kagari and Shizuku, except it doesn't use up your Kagari or Shizuku, so you always get access to your Engage or to whatever Sky Striker card you think you need out of it. Or it's Interruption. Destroy one card on the field when it does its double summon. It's worth noting the double summon summons two monsters to the field that you are not going to be able to get out of your main monster zones and turns off your Sky Striker spells and traps. So, like, as an interruption, it's actually not as strong as it first appears. But that doesn't make it a bad card. And, like, it's only one of these two effects. You can only use one Sky Striker effect per turn, only once that turn. So you got to decide, am I using it turn 1 to search Engage, or am I using it turn 2 and on to pop a card? Or even, am I using it turn 2 and on to pick up a Widow Anchor or a Shark Cannon? Or there's a new one that recycles your cards, so like you might see less Pot of Avarice in Sky Striker going forward. That's like one of the few decks that was still running Pot of Avarice on occasion. Now you can recycle your Sky Striker spells and Link monsters and just basically have unlimited grind game. And it was already good at grind game. So yeah, this is, even if all they get is 0, that's huge. But if they get all of the missing Sky Striker cards, or even like most of them, barring the new Link 1 Phantom View Bell type monster, they're going to be a much more popular deck. Probably like what I would call tier 3, maybe tier 2. Maybe they're just good enough in this format to be tier 2. Little disappointed that it's not the Vanquish Soul cards. The Sky Striker cards are too high rarity for me to ever finish the deck. I did have like a partial Sky Striker deck that I built for one of the events, but I ultimately decided I wasn't having fun playing bad Sky Striker versus the actual combo decks that were good in that event, right? And so that event just wasn't for me. Like most of them aren't if you're following the meta like a meta sheep. Luna Light Tiger Dancer. So we're gonna have another going second deck to talk about, and it also, in addition to being a good going second card, if you're going first, it's a towers. So like, this one card actually does so much for Luna Light, and I know they get some other support. So it could be a good deck. I think out of all of these cards, it's the least impactful. I think the most impactful is either Zero or Eclipse Twins, depending on how you look at it. And that basically depends on if the hits to Ryzeal are bad enough that people don't want to play Ryzeal even with Eclipse Twins. I think Ryzeal is still a stronger deck than Eclipse Twins even after these hits, personally. But this could very well end up being a tier 1 deck until some of the new other archetypes get released, like Vanquish Soul or K9 or what else? Yummy. Or even Draco Tail, because they've already given us all the... because we have branded cards to support Draco Tail, and we have the new Dragon Maze to support Draco Tail, so like a Draco Tail hybrid could be pretty good. And Draco Tail is also just not a bad pure deck either. I think we're moving into a world where the pure deck is not usually the best version of a deck, but there are things to say about, and like when it is the best version of the deck, it's because you've splashed engines into it, right? Like it's not really pure. It's just not exactly a hybrid deck either, right? Take Vanquish Soul, which has a very good chance of running some Rescue Ace cards in it some of the time when that comes out. But yeah, buff Terraziel that goes with the hits Terraziel. Sweet new possibility that Sky Striker becomes the best control deck of the format. A deck that is mostly a going second OTK deck, but makes a towers, a big towers too, 38. Like 35 towers is already scary enough, but 38, 35? Like even in defense position, this thing is really hard to run over, and in attack position, it's not quite impossible, but like this is a big monster, man. Big monster. Unaffected by card effects except Lunalight cards. So Lunalight mirrors, your card is not quite as good. Can make a second attack each battle phase. Destroys all your opponent's special summon monsters, and you need, what, 200 more, 400 more points in order to make the OTK happen? Like, this deck probably goes second and just OTKs, but if you force it to go first, I mean, Kaiju's stocks go up. I might be talking about Kaiju's in a different light coming this next format, depending on how popular these cards are. The only thing I can think of that I have in my decks that get over this are access code Talker, right? I mean, obviously, I also have a copy of Underworld Goddess of the Closed Heaven, but like I'm not running it most of the time, and so yeah, I just wanted to talk about the new selection pack being released. This is going to be a very impactful one. This card's fine, and it's kind of neat, but I don't expect it to have a big impact. This I expect to have some impact. This I expect to have a big impact. This I expect to be the best stun deck of the format. And this makes Ryziel even better and actually does a lot to help make up for the fact that Ryziel is going to be weaker going into this format. This is coming with this is also really nice, because this means you'll have way more Widow Anchors in the format, but this is another answer to Widow Anchor. Now if in Ryziel, if you play plug-in, you can answer Widow Anchor twice and still have a 1 material detonator, which is not the best thing in the world, but it gives you something to do, and you burned through 2 of your opponent's cards, right? So, like, the other thing is this might change your Ryziel combo lines somewhat, because you'll want to leave your Duo Drive or your Dugueris or your whatever in the graveyard. Particularly, we're talking about Duo Drive, because in a lot of your combos right now, you shuffle back Duo Drive in order to draw a card, and now you either have to find a way to get another Xyz monster, rank 4 Xyz monster in the graveyard, or you have to not draw a card and leave the Duo Drive there, right? But this is still a huge buff to Ryziel, and it's coming alongside a nerf to Ryziel, plus some decks that can contend with Ryziel, but I think that's actually going to make for a really healthy metagame. This is a good pack release. This pack release gets me excited. It seems to have a little bit of something for everybody, because it has something for the stun players, something for the going second players, something for the combo players, and something for the control players, right? So, like, this one is one to get excited about. I expect I'll be opening a lot of this, just trying to pull my Eclipse Twins and seeing if I can get the Sky Striker or Monarch cards together, enough of them to interest me in playing Sky Striker or Monarch. Because, if you open enough of the ultra rares, then sure, maybe, why not? And then just, like, trying to pull Twins. Twins is just one thing. Might craft it, but can at least open some packs before I craft it. And then, like, Lunar Title Light doesn't excite me that much. I'm not a big fan of towers. I'm not a big fan of trying to go second in modern Yu-Gi-Oh!, even if you have a deck that is good at it. But it's a bunch of people's bags, obviously, right? And it's nice that people will be on this instead of Tenpai, because while this is still slightly uninteractive, it's way less uninteractive than Tenpai, in my opinion. Like, it's just so much more manageable. Of course, one thing that makes me interested is, are they going to run Hamp? because the timing of this release, I don't think in the long run Sky Striker will run Hamp, but if Luno Light becomes a going first, put up a towers deck, then like everyone's going to be trying to find space for their Underworld Goddess, and Sky Striker might actually run Hamp for once. So that's kind of cool. We'll see if that actually happens, though. I mean, there's a good chance Sky Striker can think of a better way to deal with the Tiger Dancer or a Liger Dancer than Hamp. But Kaiju stocks go up on the next board breaker tier list. Sorry, I didn't do any tier list last month. I basically barely played, and when I did play, I was playing solo mode a lot because the new solo mode is actually really good and the format is kind of crap. Holy crap, we're going to turn the volume down on that. Before I had the volume off on both my sound effects and my background music. Not that the music is bad or anything, but let's turn that down so that if I click something, you can still hear me talking. That seems a little bit better. I'm going to listen back to this and try and figure this out over time. Because it would be nice to hear the ding as I play my cards. Yeah, so exciting new pack on the way. Definitely going to be getting an Eclipse Twins at the very least, so that has something relevant for me. But even the cards that are... even the other archetypes in the pack are all pretty relevant cards, right? Like, these are cards that are going to impact the meta beyond New Toy Syndrome, and I'm excited to get into some Sky Striker grind games, and at least Luna Light makes the game quick, and I'm not excited to play Monarchs, but that's because of Domain, not because of any of the new Monarch cards. Like, I hate playing against Monarchs right now, even though it's bad, because you just know they're going to have Domain. But the problem there is that Domain should be banned, not that Monarchs need to go. Alright, well, thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and, bye!